Hello and welcome to the brand new LFS report. My name is Ronald Grossmann and welcome back to a new Cityliga season with a couple of new things and a whole bunch of new drivers. This season we have the most international grid ever in Cityliga history. So let's dive right into it with the first race of the season where we took the XRT and the FXO to Kyoto National. The FXO had 3% intake restrictor for compensation. We had a 10-minute time qualifying with race fuel conditions and a 70-minute race over 35 laps. Click here to get to the track presentation of Tom and me, if you don't know the track yet, and for the others let's start with grid 3. And yes, you heard right, we again got 3 grids, so let's go. In grid 3 we see Mikey23 on pole with his FXO, followed by BMW in the XRT, and there we go into the 35 laps. We see the few XRTs got a better start due to their rear wheel drive, so BMW took over the lead from Mikey and went first into the oval turn. And now onto the first real turn down from the oval. Very critical cause it allows 4 to 5 cars next to each other before, but definitely not after the turn. But we don't see any crazy dive bomb maneuvers or similar, but very clean driving through this section. And now it goes out of the slowest turn towards the the double right-hander, and up the straight towards the 180 left-hander. And we see BMW stayed in front, followed by Mikey, and then Combo in front of Silent. Here we see a very risky maneuver of Mikpa against ice, I would even say a dive bomb. Into the second 180 left-hander he brakes really late and therefore pushes himself inside next to ice, who had to let him pass, but not without the contact. And now for the following up right, Mikpa gets the inside and stays in front and therefore gained position 9. Mikey took back the lead from BMW early in the race, but in lap 12 he got very unlucky with the left curb down from the oval. He spun nearly complete, but had to go through the gravel and therefore lost 3 positions, very unlucky. The known problem of the TBOs in general is the tire temperature of nearly every track. How much difference this can make we see here in the fight between Johansson and Dietmar. Johansson got his front tires way too hot, which leads to a bad braking for the turn down the oval, and therefore Dietmar easily passed him on the right side. At about half of the race, Mikey fought his way back to the front. In this situation, with a little bit help of his teammate Silent, they both go side by side out of the slowest turn and Silent let Mikey pass on the outside. In the last lap, Mikey finally closed up to Como, who still got hot front tires, which explains his mistake in the last turns here before the oval. And now Mikey pushed for the inside of the final oval turn and therefore got position 2 only a couple hundred of meters away from the finish line. So in the end, a victory for BMW, who benefited of the mistake of Mikey, who's second closely followed by Como as we saw. On fourth Silent, then Dietmar, Mikpa, Howlin, Ice, Ixnal and Goodholz with the last position within the top 10. Then Torrent and Hayden with already a gap of 1 lap. And now let's hop into grid 2. In grid 2 we see a core double pole with Kovac on P1 and Blom on second. And here we go into the 35 laps. There were only 2 XRTs, Karpal and me, in the grid, and we already see the good start of them. We see Karpal tries his best on the outside high in the first oval turn. And now the critical section down from the oval. And we see Blom took over the lead on the inside from Kovac. And now out of the slow double right-hander we see the both core drivers in the lead, then Terrace and Shekeli, and behind them a huge fight towards the first 180 left-hander. And here they go through this left-hander. Terrace fell back a little due to his fight with Shekeli, and now he attacked Ascona B on the outside for the first oval turn. They both went in side by side, but Terrace comes down a little bit too close to Ascona B, so the contact is unavoidable. Terrace spins out of control, but Ascona managed to stay in control, but he lost much momentum out of the oval turn, so Kapal easily take over his position, and they both got nice fights the next couple of laps. At the end of the same lap, Ascona B saw his chance in the turns back to the oval, and thanks to his front wheel drive he can make use of the gap inside and pushes himself next to Kapal. They go side by side into the oval, but in the end Kapal stayed in front. Blom got problems finding his pace at the beginning of the race, so he couldn't open the gap to his teammate, and in lap 12 Kovac uses the slipstream on the start-finish line and attacked Blom for the inside into the first oval turn. And Blom didn't manage to retake, so Kovac took over the lead. It took until lap 24 when Blom did the similar maneuver to take back the lead from his teammate Kovac. He had enough momentum to pass on the outside. Marcel on position 3 drove a quite unspectacular race until this point, but with a huge problem. He damaged his engine at multiple times in the race, so Kapal easily took over his position on the outside for the first oval turn in lap 30. Terrace seemed to hasn't his best day. Here he is under attack by Mathi into the second 180 left-hander. But on the exit there's a nasty contact on his rear left, causing him to spin out of control and nearly take out Predator 2, who could escape this scene closely. Marcel still had to struggle with his engine. At this point he is missing nearly 2% of his engine power, so Ascona B also got no problems to pass him in lap 33. From position 7 to 12 there was a big fight throughout the whole race. Here we see the final pass of this fight as Predator tried to attack Totwina, formerly known as Shumi, on the outside through the final oval turn. Similar to his teammate, Totwina also had a damaged engine, so he lacked a little bit of power. Into the first oval turn, Predator is in the front. But Totwina won't give up and tried to counterattack into the section down from the oval. But in the end, Predator managed to defend his gained position. And we already saw that Mathi was also looking to pass Totwina. Here we are in the last lap, right before the finish line, and we see a photo finish between those two, with the slight advantage for Totwina. And a couple of seconds later, another photo finish between Elmo and Terrace. And also this time with the better ending for the defender, Elmo. In the end, a double victory for Core with Blom in first and Kovac in second position. On third, Kapal with the best XRT, followed by Ascona B, Marcel and me. Then the drivers out of the huge fighting group with Predator on 7th, followed by Totwina, then Mavi, Nima, Luke and Shekili. And now let's go to grid 1. The pole in grid 1 went to Morvai, followed by Winkler, the current champion. And here the start into the 35 laps. And like in grid 2, there were only 2 XRTs in grid 1. Morvai easily took the lead through the first oval turn, but behind him there was a free wide between Winkler, J-Cartila and Mouseman in his XRT. Into the infield, Winkler defended his position on the inside, and Mouseman fell back behind Shooty. We remember the bad luck of Shooty in season 19. It seems that he carried this bad luck over into the new season, cause in lap 3, so the first lap you can't rejoin, he had some major hardware problems, which forced him to retire his race. There was a big chasing group from position 6 to 10 with huge fights. Here we are on board with Mouseman, who attacked Pete in front of him for the first 180 left-hander. Pete got massive temperature problems, so he went wide and therefore opened the gap for Roman, who thankfully accepted this invitation. Pete even lost the connection for a moment, but fortunately it didn't result in a disaster, but into the next fight, this time with Kobinji. Kobinji now with the attack into the second 180 left-hander, and he passes Pete on the inside. And in front of them, Roman also attacked Mouseman and passed him too. Behind them there was another chasing group from position 12 to 16. Nick and Toon went in side by side into the first oval turn, and behind them Shaka is waiting for an opportunity, and he will have it. Onto the turn down from the oval, Nick is defending on the inside and Toon is on the outside, ahead, but braking very late. Shaka crossed Nick in the back and therefore passed Nick and Toon with a fantastic maneuver. And through the slow double right-hander, Supi pushes himself next to Nick on the inside, but Nick got a better acceleration and Supi had to defend him against Trace. Due to his better temperature management, Winkler pushes Morvai into a mistake for the section down from the oval. Morvai ran through the gravel and Winkler is now right behind him. They both went out side by side out of the double right-hander, but Morvai now got the advantage on the inside. With the better front tires, Winkler managed to hold the line outside from Morvai and even pass him for the next right-hander. But Morvai uses the second 180 left-hander to counter-attack Winkler very aggressively and regains his position with a little bit of contact. But in the beginning of the follow-up lap, Winkler got a perfect position in the draft of Morvai and attacked him on the outside for the first oval turn. And so Winkler took the lead and Morvai couldn't counter-attack this time due to his front tires. Roman got better and better pace during his race, and here towards the end of the race he gained position 4 from Velikov with a nice door-to-door duel through the oval, and despite the fact that he also picked up some engine damage throughout the race. And now also some drama in grid 1 for the last lap. Pete was in the draft of Lazar throughout the final oval turn and tried to push for an attack on the inside. Lazar seemed to defend on the inside, but Pete was already overlapping, so they had a contact, and unfortunately this contact spun Lazar out of control right before the finish line, leading him to lose 3 positions. So in the end, Winkler begins his season like he ended the last one, with a win, followed by Morvai, then on third Jake Attila, followed by Roman and Velikov, closely behind them Kovinji and Mouseman with the first XRT, then following close Jan Ole, Chaka, Supi, Pete and Toon. Since this was the very first race of the season, the driver standings are the same as the race results for each grid, so I won't show the driver rankings in full extent. There even wasn't any protest or similar, so a very good start in the season with all and especially the new drivers. The team standings though are interesting, as Core Sim Racing, formerly known as Core Racing, took the lead with 2 wins and the second place, and therefore with 300 points. They are followed by Extreme Racing and Aero Mines. On fourth, Burner Crew number 1, closely followed by the LFS legends of World Class Lions. Then the for the most part British guys of TC Racing, followed by NeatRacing.com, Burner Crew number 2 and the Rising Stars of World Class Lions. So this was the first event of the season, and it seems Winkler is on the best way to defend his title, but with all the big names in grid 1 it surely won't be easy. If you like my report, please consider leaving me a like or even a comment, and as always you find the links to the rankings and the livestream of Thilo and Dave in the description. Until next time, bye.